I want you to stop whatever you are doing right now. Put the phone down. Close the other tabs. Because what I am about to share with you, I have never seen anyone talk about it the way it actually happened. I was 34 years old standing in a parking lot at 11 p.m. on a Tuesday night. And I watched a grown man, a man with a good job, nice clothes, and a brand new BMW sit in that car and cry. Not because he lost someone. Not because something terrible happened that day. He cried because he finally sat down and did the math. And the math told him something his lifestyle had been hiding from him for years. That man was not broke in the way most people think about broke. He wasn't homeless. He wasn't hungry. He looked successful from the outside. But on the inside, he was one missed paycheck away from losing everything he had spent years pretending to build. And when I saw that, something hit me. Because I realized that man is not alone. There are millions of people right now driving cars they cannot afford, living in apartments that are eating their future, wearing clothes that cost them their retirement. And the most painful part? Nobody told them. Nobody sat them down and explained how this was going to end. If you are 35 or older and you feel like you should be further ahead than you are right now, this video was made specifically for you. Stay with me. Because by the end of this, you are going to understand exactly what happened and exactly what to do about it. His name was Marcus, 37 years old, working in logistics management for a mid-sized company in Atlanta, earning $72,000 a year, which sounds good, which feels good when HR reads it to you in the offer letter. Marcus grew up watching his father work 2 jobs and still struggle. So when Marcus finally got his degree, finally landed that corporate job, finally saw that number on his paycheck, he made a decision. He decided he was done struggling. He decided he deserved better, and nobody can blame him for that. So Marcus did what most people do when they finally start earning real money. He upgraded his life to match the image of success he had been dreaming about since he was a kid, watching his father come home exhausted every night. He moved into a nicer apartment, $450 a month. Because he deserved it. He had worked for this. He updated his wardrobe, $2,800 on credit. Because presentation matters in corporate America. He told himself it was an investment. He bought a BMW 3 Series, $5,400 down, $608 a month for 72 months. Because he had watched successful people drive BMWs his whole life. And now he was one of them. And for about 4 months, life felt incredible. He pulled up to work and people noticed. He took girls on dates and they were impressed. He called his mother and she cried tears of pride. Marcus had made it. But then month 5 came, and month 6, and month 7, and slowly, quietly, the math started catching up with him. His take-home pay after taxes and benefits was $450 a month. His rent was $104.50. His BMW payment was $687. His goods on that BMW, because BMWs cost more to insure, was gas, because BMWs don't run on regular, another $180 a month. His credit card minimum payments from the wardrobe, $95 a month. His phone, his subscriptions, his gym membership he barely used. Before Marcus bought a single meal, before he paid a single utility bill, he had $200 left. $200 for food, for electricity, for emergencies, for life. Marcus wasn't building wealth. Marcus was performing wealth for an audience that wasn't even paying attention. And by month 8, he knew it. He felt it every time he checked his bank account. He felt it every time a friend suggested a trip he couldn't afford. He felt it every time he sat in that BMW in the parking garage at work, knowing the car cost more than anything he actually owned. That Tuesday night in the parking lot, I didn't know Marcus personally. I just saw a man sitting alone in a car that was supposed to represent his success, crying into his steering wheel at 11 p.m. And I knew exactly what was happening. Because Marcus is not unique. Marcus is the rule, not the exception. And if you are watching this right now and something about Marcus feels familiar, keep watching. Because the rest of this video is going to explain exactly why this happens and exactly how to break the cycle. What happened to Marcus has a name. Psychologists call it social signaling, and it is one of the most expensive invisible forces operating in your life right now, whether you know it or not. Social signaling is the act of spending money not for your own enjoyment or benefit, but to communicate something to other people about who you are. The BMW was not transportation. A $5,000 used Honda is transportation. The BMW was a message. It said, I am successful, I am worthy, I have arrived, respect me. And here is the painful truth that nobody wants to hear. The people who received that message, your coworkers, your dates, the strangers in traffic, they processed it in approximately 3 seconds and moved on. They forgot about Marcus and his BMW before they even got home that night. But the bank remembered, every single month, for 72 months. Now you might be thinking, okay, Dre, I get it. Don't buy expensive cars. That's basic advice. But this goes so much deeper than cars. Think about your own life for a moment. How many times have you bought something? Clothes, a vacation, a phone upgrade, a dinner you couldn't really afford. Not because you genuinely wanted it, but because of how it would look. how it would feel to post it, how it would make someone else perceive you. If you are being honest with yourself, the answer is probably more times than you are comfortable admitting. And here is why this matters so much at 35 and beyond. When you are 22 and you make a financial mistake, time fixes it. You have 40 working years ahead of you to recover, adjust, and rebuild. But when you are 35 and you are still making 22-year-old financial decisions, the math becomes terrifying, because now you have fewer working years ahead of you. The compound interest that should have been working for you for the last 13 years has instead been working against you through debt and interest payments. There is a concept in psychology called lifestyle creep. It describes what happens when your income increases and your spending automatically increases to match it, leaving you with the exact same financial stress, just at a higher price point. Marcus experienced lifestyle creep at 34, but so do doctors, do lawyers, so do engineers earning $150,000 a year who somehow cannot figure out where all the money goes. Income is not the problem. The relationship with money is the problem. And that relationship was shaped before you were old enough to understand money. It was shaped by watching your parents, by what your community celebrated, by what movies and television told you success was supposed to look like. Nobody programmed you to build wealth. They programmed you to look wealthy. And those two things are not just different, they are opposites. Now I need to show you the actual numbers, because this is where it stops being a story about Marcus and starts being a story about you. Let me show you what the car decision alone costs over a lifetime. Marcus paid $687 a month for his BMW. His insurance added another $310. Gas and maintenance another $100. Total cost of that car every month, $177. Now let's look at the alternative. A reliable 3-year-old Honda Accord. Purchase price $22,000. Monthly payment around $380. Insurance $140. Gas and maintenance $120. Total monthly cost $640. The difference between those two decisions, $537 every single month. Now here is where it gets powerful. $537 invested every month into a basic S&P 500 index fund, which has averaged roughly 10% annual returns over the last 50 years. In 10 years, that $537 a month becomes $110,000. In 20 years, it becomes $386,000. In 30 years, it becomes over $1,100,000. Marcus did not just buy a car. Marcus traded $1 million of future wealth for a vehicle that will be worth less than $8,000 in 10 years. Read that again. $1 million. Gone. Not because Marcus was irresponsible. Not because Marcus was stupid. But because nobody showed him this math before he signed those papers. Now let's zoom out and look at the bigger picture. According to the Federal Reserve's survey of consumer finances, the median net worth of Americans between the ages of 35 and 44 is $135,000. That sounds okay until you realize that number includes home equity. Remove the house, and the median liquid wealth of a 35 to 44-year-old American drops to under $40,000. $40,000. After 15 years of working, and according to a 2024 report from Bankrate, 57% of Americans cannot cover an unexpected $1,000 expense without going into debt. More than half of the country. $1,000 away from a financial crisis. Now here is the question that should keep you up at night. If the average American works for 40 years of waking up early, commuting, dealing with bosses, sacrificing time with family, and ends up with less than $40,000 in accessible wealth by age 40, where did all the money go? It went to car payments, to interest on credit cards, to subscriptions, to lifestyle upgrades that felt necessary in the moment and irrelevant 5 years later. It went to everyone else's wealth building except yours. I need to be very direct with you right now, because this part is the part most finance channels skip. This did not happen to Marcus by accident. This did not happen to you by accident. The system was designed to produce this outcome. Think about every major financial decision in your adult life. Who benefits when you make the expensive choice? When you lease a luxury car, the manufacturer sells a unit. The dealership earns commission. The bank collects 6 years of interest. The insurance company collects monthly forever. Every single party in that transaction built wealth off your decision, except you. When you carry a credit card balance, the bank charges you 24% interest annually. On a $5,000 balance paying minimums, you will pay over $8,000 interest before that debt is cleared. The bank makes $8,000 from one bad month of your spending. When you use Buy Now, Pay Later apps, they split a $400 purchase into payments so small you barely feel them. But across 6 different purchases, you suddenly owe $2,400 in future payments you forgot about. And when you miss one, the fees begin. When you upgrade your phone every 2 years, Apple and Samsung have studied your psychology for decades. They know exactly how to make your current phone feel inadequate. They spend billions on marketing specifically designed to create dissatisfaction with what you already have. And it works every single time. This is not a conspiracy theory. This is just business. These companies are exceptional at what they do. And what they do is extract money from people who were never taught how to keep it. The wealthy understand this. That is why the wealthy drive used cars, fly economy on short flights, and wear the same outfit in multiple photos. Not because they cannot afford better, but because they understand that every dollar spent on appearances is a dollar not working for their future. Warren Buffett still lives in the house he bought in 1958 for $31,500. Not because Warren Buffett cannot afford a mansion, but because Warren Buffett understands something that Marcus did not. Money is not for spending. Money is for deploying. And every dollar you deploy into an asset comes back as more dollars. Every dollar you spend on a liability is gone forever. Okay, so we have talked about what went wrong. Now let's talk about what you actually do, especially if you are 35 or older and you feel like you are starting late. Because I need you to hear this first. It is not too late. I need you to really hear that. It is not too late. A 35-year-old who starts investing $500 a month today will have over $900,000 by age 65. That is not a motivational poster. That is compound interest mathematics. The best time to start was 15 years ago. The second best time is right now, today, this week. Here is your blueprint. Rule 1, the 10% car rule. Your total monthly car costs, payment, insurance, gas, maintenance, should never exceed 10% of your monthly take-home pay. If you take home $4,000 a month, your total car costs should be $400 maximum, not 177s like Marcus, 400. If your current car costs more than that, you are driving a vehicle that is actively destroying your financial future. That is not judgment, that is math. Rule 2, assets before upgrades. Every single time you get a raise, invest the entire raise for the first 6 months before you upgrade anything. You have been living on your current income. You can continue living on it for 6 more months while your raise goes directly into investments. Most people get a raise and immediately upgrade their apartment, their car, or their wardrobe. Then wonder why the raise didn't change their financial situation. Rule 3, the 24-hour rule on every purchase over $200. Before you buy anything over $200, wait 24 hours. Sleep on it. In most cases, the urgency disappears and you realize you didn't actually need it. This one habit alone can save the average person $4,000 to $8,000 per year. Rule 4, build your emergency fund first. Before you invest a single dollar, build 6 months of expenses in a high-yield savings account. This is not optional. This is the foundation. Because without an emergency fund, every unexpected expense becomes debt. And debt is the single biggest wealth killer for people in their 30s and 40s. Marcus cried in that BMW partly because he knew one transmission failure, one medical bill, one layoff, and everything collapsed. That fear is not motivation. That fear is paralysis. And an emergency fund eliminates it. Rule 5, automate everything. The day your paycheck hits, your investments move automatically. Your emergency fund contribution moves automatically. Your bills pay automatically. You get what is left over to spend freely, with zero guilt. Because the system is funded first, not last. Most people invest what is left over after spending. The wealthy spend what is left over after investing. That one sentence, if you truly internalize it, will change your financial life. Rule 6, stop performing wealth and start building it. Unfollow accounts that make you feel inadequate. Stop comparing your Chapter 1 to someone else's Chapter 20. Stop buying things to impress people who are not paying your bills. Every dollar you spend on perception is a dollar stolen from your future. Start asking one question before every financial decision. Does this make me richer or poorer over time? That question asked consistently will rewire how you see money forever. So what happened to Marcus? About 8 months after that night in the parking lot, Marcus sold the BMW, took the hit on the negative equity, bought a 2019 Honda Accord for $18,000. He took that $537 monthly difference and set up an automatic investment into an index fund the same day his paycheck hit every month. He built his emergency fund over 9 months. He paid off his credit card. He stopped upgrading his wardrobe and started upgrading his net worth. Marcus is not rich yet. He will tell you that himself. But for the first time since he was 22 years old, when he checks his bank account, he doesn't feel sick. He feels like he is finally playing the right game. That is what financial freedom actually feels like. Not a BMW in the driveway, not designer clothes in the closet, not a lifestyle that looks impressive on Instagram. Peace, clarity, control. If this video showed you something about yourself, that is not an accident. That is exactly why I made it. Subscribe to Finance with Dre. Turn on notifications. Because every single week, we are going to break down exactly how money works and exactly how to make it work for you. No matter where you are starting from, you are not behind. You are just now getting the information you should have had years ago. And now that you have it, everything changes. I will see you in the next one.